Hello, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone, again for our new episode of our podcast. It's all within here with me is the beautiful Miruna and myself, Macy. And we figured today we would follow up with our theme of hurt and pain. And following the episode where we talked about why people hurt people, right? Including ourselves, right? And why do we hurt other people around us? And why do people hurt us? And, so we kind of scraped the subject about that. And we figured today we would be talking about how to actually communicate and verbalize when that happens, when you're feeling hurt, when you're feeling triggered. How do we learn to actually communicate it in a non-violent way, right? In a way that's an empathic, understanding way. And how can they do that in return? And I feel, and we're probably going to talk about it today, I feel like we have not been taught for so many years in our life and going through the education system. And it's okay, right? How can we expect each other to know how to do it if we have not been taught, right?
That's right.
So I invite Miruna to please introduce us in whatever you feel regarding this topic today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that we are on the 7th episode. What a flow. We were just talking about it. What a beautiful discovery we're both doing and we are all doing together. We have indeed not been taught to communicate in a non-violent way. We all communicate, right? The communication is everything. But we don't always effectively communicate, and we certainly don't communicate with benevolence. What I love to say when I hear I haven't learned this, be it from myself or others, is the next question, which is a question actually is, so are you willing to learn? Because for some reason, some people just think it's a period. Like after saying I don't know how to communicate or I don't know how to do that, there's a period and then that's it. So I'm just going to communicate ineffectively. No, for me, it's definitely not a period. It's okay. I hear you. I hear me. I hear me. I don't know how to on this topic. Am I willing to learn? Just a question. Am I willing to learn? Not I have to learn, not I owe it to the other to learn. Am I actually willing? I think it's a very important question because if the willingness is not there, that's where we see struggles between a person wants us to communicate better, but still we don't think it, we just take it for granted. So that for me is kind of a first step, a first leaning into another possibility, a possibility that could actually better our lives and better the lives that of the ones we love. In my case, that was the question where I don't remember exactly when, in which time of my life I was like, I can't do this. I still get triggered. I'm being reactive. And my mind was coming up with examples, like your mother was like this, your dad was like this. If only they would have taught you this. Well, what can you expect seeing like violence in the family? And it's not easy. So I had a leaning towards victim and towards like, well, what do you want me to say? Like, this is what they were doing. So I was like pointing to the others, right? And so I was more like the child. I literally in my family, I am the smaller child. So, I had all the excuses to be like, I mean, have you seen these people? How do you expect me? And I was not smiling that much. I was much more dramatic. Have you seen these people? It was just like a very believable act of, I mean, it is
Cannot
what
do
it is.
nothing about
What,
it.
what,
Yeah.
what do you want me to say? And then, of course, in this lifetime, I'm always pushed to evolve. And since I address a higher consciousness, I always get an answer because when you ask, you will receive. So the question was, but are you willing to learn? Are you willing to learn how to become more conscious? Are you willing to love even when you're hurt? Are you willing to do this? Do you, because there's answers that we can share with you, you know. So I said, yes, I'm willing and I need it. And I want my life to change. I need a change to be. And so then in that answer, it was, I'm willing to be responsible for learning as I'm failing, which I would love for you to share on that, how uncomfortable it is to be learning something new, but you're not there yet. So like the again, the mind is like, oh, did you see this? I thought you were doing better. How come you're being triggered? So it's like this nagging voice that is goes at it 24/7. As more as you're trying to change and do better, it's like blah, 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 but you're not doing. Like, I know I'm learning. So what does learning mean, right? Learning means I don't have it yet. Okay, so give me a break. I'm in the process of discovering something new, but in that process there's a gap of I'm going to be reactive sometimes. I'm not gonna get it right for sure, and I will have wins. I will have victories. So just I laid some steps here, but I would love to give it back to you for you to tell
Oh,
how would you
you're such a
change it?
blessing, Miruna. Thank you so much for your sharing. And you can't imagine how much I needed to hear that this morning, this afternoon. And definitely it's always very pertinent and relevant to be reminded that we hold the freedom of will. We hold the choice to actually make a change, be willing to try, right? We don't expect ourselves and you to, okay, I want this to change. Let's change that in the right away and have the results go on right away. And it's such a great reminder you give us, Miruna, to actually tell us there's a process to it. That's why every time I say that to my client, there's a process, like you said. So there's a step in, step out, but at least you're gradually ascending towards a new way, a new story. And it is uncomfortable, but because it is uncomfortable, that means you're breaking something. You're
That's right.
breaking something free from,
Mm,
right?
mm.
So I do agree with you. It's very, very interesting. The first thing when you are facing a challenge or a recurring issue in your life, this is a very important and pertinent question. Are you willing? Are you willing to not even change if it's too big of a question to and a fit to ask you, but are you willing, like you said, to learn something different, something new, a new way, right? Because it belongs to you. You're responsible of where you want to get in your life or what type of lifestyle do you want to have or how much peace or not do you want to have, right? And it's okay. There's no right or wrong answer. So you might be in your life in this time in your life and say, you know what? I don't feel ready yet, Macy. I good. I'm good where I'm at. I'm good. Like I'm okay. I'm experiencing a lot of pain, shit patterns. It's shitty sometimes, but I'm okay because I'm so used and comfortable with it right now. And then we'll come alive and you'll see it's the natural flow of life. You get to a point, you keep going into this path, and then you get fed. And this point is for different people, right? This point represents different things for different people, right? So some people within 10 years it happens, within 5, in about 20 years, it depends of each of your
Yeah.
process. So you get to a point where you're fed up, and that's what I think you expressed me now, where you're like, now I'm done. I want to do something different.
Yes.
I am tired of feeling in pain,
Yeah.
miserable, enslaved by all of these issues and pain and all this thing and the
Yeah.
hurt, actually. This is what we're talking about, the hurt. We're tired of feeling hurt by other people. We're giving
Yes.
other people the power to hurt us every time we're feeling hurt, unconsciously or consciously. And that's okay, once again. But we're here to show you a new way of actually turning things around and find a way that not only liberates you, that allow you to be not empowered and loving towards yourself and the others. So my experience, yes, is exactly what you said. Very uncomfortable at the beginning. But as you process and body and transcend new ways and liberate old patterns, once you do the first, like the first win, you're like, it's such an indescribable way of feeling release, loved, protected, elevated that you like, you can't stop there. You just can't. It's just,
Yeah, you want
it's
to go
so fun.
further.
It's so loving.
Yes.
It's so uplifting.
It's so much better. The results are so much better, aren't they?
Exactly. And so much
Yeah, you
easier.
can't
It's
deny them.
so much easier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I do agree. I totally agree with you. And this is actually my experience. So we just invite you to just open your heart and your mind. And if you experience it, and when you, if especially if you surround yourself with the right people and resources, there is a way, guys. The way you're living right now is not the only way. Really, is never. There's so many other ways. So
I
yeah,
love
I'm
that.
I'm giving back because I feel like we talk
I
so much
love
today, but
that. I
I'm
love
giving
that.
back to you to this experience. But my only
Yeah.
other point when you said when we ask ourselves, are we willing? I feel like some people, and this is maybe my personal experience, they say yes, they're willing, but once they are facing the discomfort or the
Mhm.
steps they have to move forward, they're
Yes.
actually not as willing as they thought they were
Yes.
going to be, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we're
I
talking
love that
more.
one.
We'll see how we go with this call, but if ever you want to touch base with that too, I'm curious.
I love that one. I'm gonna pick it up exactly here because we named responsibility and then you named empowerment. So this is exactly what happens. We're willing because we don't really know. We're just, yeah, of course, I'm open to better myself. I mean, yeah, sure, I could speak nicer. I could introspect on myself, like, but I haven't really practiced it yet. When I
Mm,
go into it and I fully triggered and I actually, that's when I reckon with, oh my God, I'm actually going to in this process have to be responsible and acknowledge that I am responsible of how I speak, how I interpret, how of the hurt that I feel, of telling the other in a non-violent way. And I would love to speak a bit of non-violent communication. Um, I remember specifically so many times in my own process and in the process with clients where being responsible or being uncomfortable was too heavy of a burden, and especially the word I'm responsible of the concept that I'm responsible when obviously another person is is unconscious and has their own processes is difficult to assume. That's where I love to turn it around to link to what you said, how you turn it around into I am empowered. So I shifted my perspective on I am responsible, not in a way of I am culprit
burden. Hmm.
or like burdened or oh it's all on me. Oh, I have to do oh why is it always me? We all know that. I mean, I definitely was there. How come it's always me, who's always responsible? Isn't him responsible for, or aren't they
Mm-hmm.
responsible? Yeah, they are. Whether they know it or not, they are. They have their own souls, they have their own, but that doesn't pertain to your transformation. So
Mm-hmm.
when responsibility became I'm empowered, that's where it really got easier for me. And it got more like elevating, even the word, you know, and I'm not talking about force or like control or like power over people. This is not empowerment in my perspective. I am empowered means I am conscious, I am willing, I can, you know
Resourceful,
yes, resourceful.
loving.
I have the choice. Even if I forgot temporarily, I always have the gap, after to choose better. So it doesn't matter, I if I temporarily lose consciousness, and I am empowered with these resources and tools. Where nonviolent communication really shifted a lot in my life was when I discovered how beautiful it is to learn like a formula. It's just one of the formula formulas of nonviolent communication that could so much better help me name how I feel and listen to the other one as well. So just a very basic one would be, when you do this or when you don't do this, I'm talking to somebody, when you forget to put the laundry in the dryer, whatever, I feel disrespected. So there's a magical formula of, when you come 2 hours late and I cook dinner for us, I feel you're just,
Missing me.
yeah, again, disrespected, or you don't value me. I don't feel valued. So the magical formula of actually naming facts, it's a fact. You came 2 hours late. I'm not interpreting that you came 2 hours late. I'm not name calling you that you are such a, can't believe you. I'm not going there, but I am naming my feelings. I actually, yeah, I don't feel seen. I don't feel respected. I don't feel valued. I feel sad, maybe. I just feel sad. Like, I wanted to spend time with you and I feel sad. It's so this was a great tool for me, nonviolent communication, from Marshall Rosenberg, and my favorite is Thomas Dijsselbloem, the French. He has tons of videos for the French speaking people out there. Such a way of explaining how to be able to be with the needs and the feelings of one, and to effectively communicate with the other without blaming and shaming and finger pointing and labeling their characters as if they're like always the horrible person. So yeah, very empowering. And it works with two, and it works with just one, right? If I do my own process, I do it for myself as well. Like, oh, when I procrastinate, I feel like I'm not honoring the commitment I did. So it's like a dialogue between my mind and heart. So I can still name my feelings. So what's the underlying? If there's a fear of failure, it helps me go deeper and not stay in the surface of, well, I can't believe you procrastinate again. Like, you're such a procrastinator. Well, there's a deeper layer of why I'm procrastinating, so I can hear all of me, and it's super empowering. It's so empowering, right?
It is. I love this. Very interesting, Miruna. I love this so much. And I would have to second. I mean, let's remember that it's a process. Like I said, the way we communicate, I think the first step to everything, right? When it comes to growth, when it comes to consciousness, when it comes to the compassion we can express to others. We communicate, like you said, all the time, but like you say, to practice this ability to communicate your hurt, your first step obviously is to become aware, right? So all the other episodes, if you haven't watched them, is going to become relevant, because you're going to try and understand more the awareness. Where does it hurt? And how does it hurt inside of you? So you can now learn to verbalize it. And if you feel clueless of how to verbalize it, because a lot of people, and I know people around me, they have not been taught not only how to communicate, but to actually use the words, which words actually can express and explain how I feel, right? So there is not only articles, nowadays we have access for many things, but I've seen some of those pillows. It's called like emotions pillows, where there's like a range of emotions on the pillow. You can
Yes.
also print it out, put it as a post-it when things happen. Make sure that you make it easy on you, right? Make sure that you have those resources um, within reach when it's the moment to communicate, right? And we are aware that there is of course a trigger, then your reaction mode, then you realize how you could have done it differently. We're totally aware of that. And it's okay, once again, right? Because it's about you being aware of what is the situation that triggered you. So, for example, what you said, when you don't do that laundry, or when you come late, this is how I feel. So when you're going to grow self-awareness, you're going to be able to pinpoint those moments of, aha, this is hurting me. Aha, I saw me react this way or this way. And aha, I choose now to actually rectify it and come back and actually be able to communicate in what you proposed, Miruna, right? So, of course, it's so much, I don't want to say easier, but it's more mature, evidently, to not point the other person's, right? And I know on the reality side, when you're on the emotionality, it's it's like a reflex. We blame,
Yeah.
we do responsabilize, we come in the emotionality, the traumatization of it, right? So
Mhm.
what helped me greatly personally to be able to share in a non-violent or more empathetic way is,
Conscious way. Yeah.
instead, conscious way, yeah, thank you, instead of saying I am, I use I feel, because your feelings don't define your true value. Your hurt don't define your true
Exactly. Yeah.
value and who you are. So it allows me to detach myself from the hurt. And like you mentioned before, I think last episode you said a part of me, right?
Yeah.
This isn't whole me. And that's what makes us react so emotionally, is because we think everything the person did,
Yes.
the situation, it represents all of us, and it's the end of the world, and how dare you do that, and it's the end, and then you explode before you know it, right? But
Yeah.
by expressing yourself, when that happened, I feel, now I am not, I feel this way. And you make it in a way that can be brought up vulnerably. And I think we're gonna probably touch base with the vulnerability theme, but you're gonna see that if the more you're becoming vulnerable with the words you're using, the more there's space for the other person to actually be kind and open up on their side. This is a beautiful welcoming door for so many things, not only for your own self, but for the other person. So use hurt words that actually is, at the beginning, might be uncomfortable to admit it. I feel
Yes.
hurt. I feel rejected. I feel left out. I feel not valued. It is, I know, and this is something we're going to discuss. It is normal. It is uncomfortable because we have not been taught to be that vulnerable, but it is so empowering, so
Yeah.
empowering,
I
because
love that so much. Yeah.
it
So important.
allows the other person to actually see you for what you're
And
feeling
understand the depth of
and
what you feel.
understand the depth of it.
Because if you talk about the situation and they just perceive anger, it really, there's, I mean, empaths catch it quick, but we should not take it for granted, because even empaths, they get triggered. So if I'm triggered, in any case, I'm not going to see you.
Yeah,
um
yeah,
I love that thing. And you know, the list, I had a colleague that had the list printed with her. We supported her into her process. She would actually take out that list. She had it one pager, and she's like, I feel appalled by, like, she was just like, name. At the beginning, it was kind of like a game.
yeah,
She would use humor into it, and as we were. But the more and more that she went on with the list, she shared how she was practicing it in her relationship, and how she got a, you know, gave her boyfriend a list. And it was just amazing. It's like
beautiful. It's
so
true.
helpful. And we shouldn't assume that we have to know those words.
Yeah,
That again, it's just a willingness to be open and learn,
yeah,
and use tools that
yeah,
can help us with that.
yeah.
Like
That's
literally,
exactly it.
you know, in the process, in our processes, I dare say, we've learned so much and practiced and tested so many ways. Again, it does not come, well, we do have revelations or insights, but the actual practice in the human world is filled with tools. So go
Amen.
ahead and try them out
Write
and
them out.
practice
Get
them.
this.
So many of them work, and this one that you said is very efficient, very efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I love what you said, and it's about practice, and it's about, you said earlier, learn failure. You learn as you're failing, right? So
Yep.
You're gonna have to try, right? So
Yeah.
remind yourself to be kind to yourself, that sometimes you're gonna lose it. Sometimes it's okay, because we're disconstructing something that we've been used to do it so much. We've been used and programmed to be reactive in our lives. This happened. Oh, I cannot believe this happened. Somebody cut you off in front. No, 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 no. And either you're not being expressive about it, you might still be reactive in your heart,
Yes.
in your soul.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's still a reaction, but you're just
Oh yeah,
internalizing it.
for
That's
the
something I
introverts
have
out
to,
there. Yes.
you know me, Miruna, what I'm experiencing right now in my life. And this is something we could probably touch base with, internalization. A lot of people, including us, for some point in our life, we do internalize a lot, and
Yes.
it's the same, but because you're still sending those vibrations instead of
Yes.
verbalizing, you're still sending
Yeah.
vibration that is,
I love that you said that. It's so important because so many introverts, but particularly introverts, think that if they don't say it, nobody's feeling it. Oh, we're feeling it
oh yes, oh
so
my
much.
goodness.
We're feeling it.
Sorry.
The vibrations are very strong. They're very
Yeah.
low. I'm talking when we're repressing negative emotions. So you can hide, okay? Forget about it. Forget
Cannot
about
go.
trying. And they're usually paired with an extrovert that does burst and does name what it is. It's like, you see, but you're the one who's negative. No, I'm the one who's saying it out loud. You're the one who's repressing it, and we can feel your vibes. Like the actual tree is like, falling off because we can't stand. It's the same vibration, okay? And actually expressing, I'm not saying we should express. I'm all for, as we spoke, I feel it to heal it. So I'm all for alchemy. I'm for that. But expressing it actually liberates a little bit of it. Repressing it is like the volcano that is like,
Yeah.
just
Oh
waiting to
yes.
erupt, and you
So
can
interesting.
feel that like.
And
So a
yes,
very, very important point.
I
It
love
doesn't
this
mean if you
point.
don't say it out loud, you ain't feeling
Exactly.
it. No, 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 no,
And
no.
it comes to the pertinence of the relevance of communication then, right? Because we each have our own,
Yes.
you mentioned responsibility, own, who we are, how we growing, how we actually holding ourselves up every day, how do we deal with life every day. So communication, verbal communication, because there's all types of
Yeah.
communications per se, but verbal communication actually allows the other person to understand a bit more where you're coming from, right? So
Yes.
it is a tool, a resource, so we can try to understand each other, to be in the same wavelength. And then we're not talking about eventually when you grow in consciousness, you actually can understand without the spoken words
Yes.
many things, much
Yeah.
more than the unseen, right? But we're here for discussing the importance of communicating, especially when you're not from the same background and the same styles of coping mechanism, the same style of being hurt, right? So communicating allows you to have a safe space and a common ground to
Yes.
be able
Yes.
to express what needs to be expressed. So self-awareness, detachment of the situation as it happens. This is practice. Obviously, we're aware of that. It's
Feeling. Yeah.
practice, right? So I feel, I am not, I feel, or you said it earlier, a part of me feels that,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And third, like you mentioned too, the phrase, when that happens, fact, I feel this way. Or in my case, you use when that happened, and you can use tools, pillows, list
Yes.
of emotions to just
Yeah.
help you at the beginning get tools. Like we learned at the beginning of school, the alphabet,
Yeah.
how to write words. You were using tools.
Yeah.
You use examples, right? The same happens with our emotional intelligence and ability to express it. Because pretending that emotions are not there is not going to make them disappear. Emotions
Mm-hmm.
serve a purpose. And I think, I don't know if you mentioned it, Miruna, but the reason most of us are hurt or experiencing hurt is because it's linked with emotions. It's actually the bridge. It's like the emotions is what leads you to hurt. If you didn't have any emotions, you would just be like zip, a robot, nothing,
Yeah.
no feelings, nothing. So the emotions is not something bad. It is a tool, once again. It is a necessity for you to heal and grow from that. So
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I think that then the next one will definitely be more on vulnerability and that safe space. And we're going deeper and deeper. and how it can shift a relationship with ourselves and the relationship with the other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
really
goodness.
all about consciousness and being, just being willing to dive deeper into what is actually going on and felt, even if, and particularly if it's uncomfortable. That's what develops a deeper relationship. That's what actually solidifies a bond between two people.
I,
It actually
I agree.
solidifies a bond. So many of us are like running away from that, but going into it together, when you just go through like a wreck together and you come out on the other side, but both people were
Much more,
courageous
yeah,
enough to
bonded
go.
and stronger
It
together.
is such a blessing and a miracle in a relationship.
And it's such a
So
deeper bond. When you step into
yes,
this vulnerability circle with your partner or a person you hold dear, there's a deeper strength. And it's okay. It's
yes,
not about you being with your person forever with them. It depends what your priority is, but it's just about just a deeper connection and a deeper foundation. You're
oh
just
yes,
fortifying your foundation when you allow yourself within this vulnerability. And and it's funny how everything is connected, because I know for certainty, and I think I have experienced it too, is that most of people don't dare to step into this vulnerability or
yeah,
dare stepping into an discomfort. Why? Because we fear to be hurt. But in
yeah,
the past, we already got hurt.
yeah. You're gonna get
We
hurt
survived.
anyway, and
You,
worse.
right?
Just
Worse.
flash news for everyone: you will get hurt, and you're not going to live something deeper if you don't go there.
It's
It's just how it
inevitable.
is. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
inevitable. So you either choose to let yourself be hurt without this fortification of the foundation, or get hurt, but now
yeah.
you get empowered from it and you learn from this, and it becomes a tool, a lesson in your life. You're right. It's inevitable to get hurt, to feel
It
hurt.
is. It's a part of human
Um,
experience.
it's necessary, but that's for another another discussion.
Yes, that will be in the
I
next
love this.
one.
Oh my goodness. So it's crazy because people don't dare to be vulnerable because we fear to get hurt, but then the fear of getting hurt is actually inevitable. So actually the fear of it is becoming an illusion, because like there's no need to fear it, but like I understand why we fear it. Wow. And then it ends up not being, the communication is not there because we tend to stay in the status quo, and it's, yeah, we're just here. And obviously we are, how should I say, we're biased, but we have experienced everything you might be experiencing right now, guys. We have lived it as well. We are all one consciousness. We're one humanity. We're one big family. And everything you experience, we've experienced. Everything we will experience, you will experience. So we are totally aware and understanding and feeling the pain that you might have experienced in the past, the fear that you might be experiencing as well. We experience it still today. Not the type of
Actually,
feelings, but
so
absolutely. But it's a question of
actually, so.
choosing. Are you willing? Are
Are
you
you willing? Yes, because
willing?
it does get better with
It
every
does.
step towards a
Yes.
lighter path. It does get better. It
Better
gets
gets
deeper. It gets better. It gets
easier,
more authentic. Yeah,
more fun.
it does get more
Okay.
fun. Even actually, as you make
Weirdly,
errors, for me, it's gotten funner and funner. And God
yeah.
knows how much my personality, my perfectionist personality, did not like that and tried to convince me with all its might that no, 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 no. It's better just not to going to get hurt. And that was exactly the conversation. We're gonna get hurt anyway. So are you willing to just become more? I'm opening more conscious space, because
Yeah.
the more conscious space and
Hallelujah.
loving space I'm opening, the less the least we hurt and the funner it gets,
Exactly.
the
And the more
lighter it
empowered we
gets.
are through that process.
So it's a
Exactly.
choice, and yeah,
Ah,
and
well
it's
said.
risk taking, and it's a gradual thing. It's a total gradual thing.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
it's
course.
not
You can't
from today I decide and tomorrow I'm all no, no, no. just
no
just go with it.
process.
Yeah,
Exactly.
try it out.
Oh, I love this, Miruna. We have to wrap it up. I let that go more today because we were such in a good. It's so exciting. I love talking with you, my dearest.
I love that too so
So
much. Yeah,
we shall see what will be an inspiration for our next episode. But for today, this is it.
That's
Thank
it
you
for today.
so
Yeah.
much for your time. And then we appreciate you so much, guys. And if ever that calls you out, please comment, reach out to us, and if ever share also the
And
podcast,
share.
please,
Yeah.
and serve someone else as well. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A blessed day to all. We'll see you next time.
Yes.